In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to install GCC, and you should have a list of instructions just like this that give you all the steps necessary to do the installation. I'm going to break this up in little chunks as we go, and just follow along. You might want to print it out and follow me, or if you're real comfortable with this, you could probably just do this pretty quick. But either way, let's get started here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to log into the cPanel. We're going to go to the MySQL database wizard. We're going to create the database, create the user, create the password for the user, and assign a database to user with all the privileges. So all the database stuff basically. So let's do that. Let's go to the database wizard here, and we're just going to give it a name, and next step, and give it a name for the database user. Then we're going to get a password. Now the password, what you want to do is make sure you're using a password that does not have any special characters. And so what you want to do is you want to click this little advanced options, and that opens up to this area. Then you can click both for alpha characters, and then go down here and choose numbers. And then generate password, and you should get it here. And let's grab this. And what I want you to do is get a little empty notepad to keep some of this information. So we're going to paste that over here. And now we can say, yes, I've copied this password into safe places. Let me put this over to the side and use password. So now we got our password in here, we got our user, now we click create user. Then before we move on, what I want you to do is grab this information here. So we're going to grab this right here, and we're going to also put that in the notepad so we have everything handy. So now we have the user, the database, and the password in here. And we want to give it all privileges, so we're going to check this little box here which checks all these, and we're going to click next step. And that takes care of this little chunk of stuff. Let's see what's next. So the next thing you want to do is upload and extract the GCC zip file that should be near this tutorial. And then you want to open the GCC install URL in your browser and accept terms and conditions from the installer. We want to add the host name that we're using, the database info, which we've already created, and then click on check connections, and if connections successfully, click on next to proceed further. So let's do that. So first thing I want to do is grab the GCC file, zip file, and I've got it in this folder right here. We're going to upload that, and we need to get to the right place. So let me go over here to home, go to my file manager, and let me look for the domain. Now I've got this, it's not a add-on domain, because if it was, it would be listed over here like this mysubdomain.mydomain.com. It's not a subdomain, so it also would not be listed here. This is my main domain called mydomain.com. So in this case it would be under public HTML folder, and so this is where we want to put the GCC file. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload this, so we're going to click upload, and then we're going to drag this file over just like so, and that should upload it. Okay, now we can X this out, and then let's do reload here. So now there's the file, and what we want to do is extract it. So you can right click it and hit extract, or there should be an extract button up here somewhere. Where is it? I never do it this way, but we'll do it that way. And let it go into that folder. There we go. So now you can get rid of the GCC file because it's extracted to a GCC folder. And I'm just going to delete it completely. Now I want this to be under mydomain.com, and it's in a folder right now called GCC, so it'd be mydomain.com/GCC. So I'm going to want to move all of these files up to the parent directory. It's pretty easy to do. You just have to select all the files, and then you just right click, or actually you go up here and click move. You can right click also, but we're going to click this move button here, and we're going to get rid of the GCC that's in my path here, and we're just going to click move files. So all of a sudden that directory is empty. We go up a directory, we're back in our public HTML folder, and everything is here. Now you can remove this empty directory if you want. Now that we've got this uploaded, we're going to actually open the GCC and the install URL in the browser. In this case, it's mydomain.com. So I'm going to open this up. So you can see it was there initially creating the files and extracting and doing all the stuff that it needs to do. Eventually you get to this terms and conditions. So you need to read these terms and conditions, make sure it's acceptable to you, then accept them, and then proceed to the next step. And this is where you're going to put in your information that you got from your notepad. So it needs the username, which is right here for me, and the password, which is right here, and a database name, which is right here, and then host name. Now host name most of the time will be localhost. It could be something else. If it is, then you need to check with your hosting provider to see, but you can just put localhost, hit check connection, and if you get if it gets a successful check, then it should be okay. Now this time I did not, and I did this on purpose because if this isn't exact, it won't work. So if you notice when I'm clicking in these fields, I don't have any space in that field, but there is a space after the GCC user, so make sure you back out that, then click check connection, and you see how it works. So if you got all these things right and it doesn't work, you might want to check and see if localhost is the right thing. But like I said, 95% probably of all the hosters use that to connect to the database. So now my check went okay, so I'm going to click next. So this is where you're going to put in your actual host name information so we can get that set up right there. That's actually the next step. So let me just pull up the slide here real quick. So we want to add the user info for the install admin. We're going to add the application title and footer text, or we can skip it, take the default. And then we're going to also want to delete the install directory from our GCC install folder and login. Those are the last steps. So, and it could be anything that you want. Now this says right here, you must use the email that you purchased here and all this blah blah information. It doesn't matter what you put in here, it's going to work. Just make sure you keep this information, because this is what you're going to use to log in. Whatever you put in here for email and password, that's what you're going to use to log in. So now I'm going to hit next. Let me go ahead and do that. Alright, this is where we're gonna add our application settings. So we can put our application title here, our footer text, and we can actually choose our logo. Now I'm going to actually skip this, but you can just, all you have to do is upload a logo and put in anything you want in here, and it's going to add it to the application. But it does have default set up, and you can go back and change this later. So I'm going to hit next, and so now it's ready for you to log in. But we need to delete the install directory from the GCC install folder and log in first. If you don't, you're going to get this message. We're going to click this button here, and it's going to tell you please delete install directory to run application. So let's go over here and do that. That's going to be this. So we're going to delete that. Alright, so we want to delete the install folder that was in there. Now when I refresh that, now I've got the login. Now what I want you to do is make sure that the install is not in your path here once you've deleted that install. So I'm going to take that out and actually just go to mydomain.com, and now I can put my email address and my password and hit login, and I'm going to be logged in. So now we're ready to go. We can click dashboard, campaigns, schedule, pages, and so on, and get started. So you can go back in here and you can get to settings. You can set some of the stuff up that I didn't do, which was like, let's see, like the logo is under application settings, application titles there, and so on. But there will be more tutorials on all of this. That's the install, and that should take care of you.